So you're going to find the equation of this line. Formula for the equation of a line is in the log tables. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you could do this without a formula. You know, there's a challenge to some of you that might, mightn't like using formulas. Go ahead, see if you can figure it out without using a formula. I'm just going to use this, fill it in and just see from there. Y1 and X1. Well, if you look at your log tables, you know, they're your points, let's say. So let's call this one X1, Y1. This is X2, Y2. It wouldn't matter if you did the other way around. We're going to get the exact same answer. And M, again, go to your log tables. None of this is to be learned off. You just have to but it's just a skill of how to use the log tables. You know, if you went to the log tables on the day of your exam and looked at it, you'd probably figure it out, but it would take time. So put in a little bit of time into knowing how to use the log tables, and make sure that you ask questions if you're unsure of how to use it at all. So I asked you to find the equation of the line. Let's go for the slope first. So if you look in your log tables, you will see a formula for slope. Y2. So Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. So Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. I wonder, is this the same one that I gave you the other day? Okay, well, if it is, I'm going to do a different one in a minute. Oops. Y minus Y1 is equal to M. So throw that into your calculator. You end up with minus a half. So it's not exactly the same as the one the other day, but it's similar. X minus X1. No. So Y minus Y1. You see, I'm not doing this on purpose. You just actually have to be careful filling in your formulas. You know, take your time. It can be easy to make small little errors, but they'll cost you marks. So just slowly do it. Y minus Y1 is equal to my slope. Yeah, bracket X minus X1. So Y minus 0 is just Y. Minus a half times X is minus a half X. And minus a half times minus 6 is plus 3. Again, just throw that into your calculator. You don't have to know how to do that. So the cleaning up of this is basic algebra. Now, you can leave it like this, or maybe you don't like the look of that and you'd like it to look slightly differently. Some people don't like fractions. If you don't like fractions, get rid of fractions. So if you want to get rid of halves, you do the opposite. You multiply by 2. But if you multiply one thing by 2, you need to multiply everything by 2. And I'm going to add 1x to both sides. So if you add 1x to both sides, I end up with that. Let's just check if that's right. Does 6 for x and 0 for y work? So 1 times 6 plus 2 times 0 is equal to 6, yeah. And does 0, 3 work? Yes, it does. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you had this, or maybe you just didn't like the look of the fractions and you prefer this. Either of those will give you full marks in an exam, because you've given me the equation of the line. And I wonder, could you, besides those points, tell me another point on those lines? You know, you can, once you know the equation of the line, you should be able to find any point on the line, every point on the line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you on questions to do from your book, and just see how you get on. I'll gladly do loads of questions for you if you get stuck, but just make sure you give it your best effort.